All right, let's kick off our opening drive, brought to you by Chevy. For our first down today, the Bears rookies will not be reporting to camp until Saturday, but their Week 1 opponent, the Carolina Panthers, begin their training camp journey today. Similar to the Bears, Carolina is looking to build off of last season's momentum, where they won their first NFC South title since the 2015 season. So guys, I ask you this, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult of a Week 1 matchup do you believe the Panthers are for the Bears?
I think it's more difficult than people will give it credit for being. I think it's one of those games you cannot take lightly, even though it is the opener. It may sound absurd, but it's not going to be in prime time. It's not going to be a marquee game. Those are the reasons why you fear maybe an opening day letdown. Don't take the Panthers lightly. They were also a postseason team in 2025. So I think when you go into this game, I would say 6-ish, maybe 7. You're going on the road. You don't like to open on the road, and for that reason, I don't think it's a game you can assume the Bears are going to cruise in.
It's always a good day when I agree with David Haugh. I have wrote down here it's a 6. You know, this is a team that was 8-9. They lost more than they won, but they did make the playoffs. Guess who they beat during the regular season? The Los Angeles Rams. Guess who they took to the final minutes in the playoffs? The Los Angeles Rams. So this was a team that finished strong. They won the division. It's between them and the Bucs. And you saw Bryce Young. He was a guy, he had 4 fourth-quarter comebacks. We always talk about 𝗂𝗏
Yes.
but he's a guy that played well down the stretch, and he improved. Now the question is, this year, they're letting 𝗦ici𝗰𝗶𝗹 take over the play calls from Canales. So for the first time ever, he's been the offensive coordinator, but he's the play caller. So how does he fit in with Bryce Young is what I'm curious about.
It's worth noting that the Bears are 2.5-point favorites going into Week 1 at this point of where we are in the offseason. And guys, I want to make sure we're all talking about the additions that this team made in the offseason. Don't forget, they paid Jaelan Phillips big money to go rush the passer.
And Devin Lloyd, who's a really good off-ball linebacker. He had 5 interceptions last year.
But it will come down to Bryce Young, though, because he's somebody that did take a step last year. He was demoted. He grew up. Last year in 16 starts, he completed 64% of his passes. We're obsessed with passing percentage and completion percentage in Chicago. And you look at what Bryce Young was able to do, 23 touchdowns, 11 picks with 3,000 yards passing. He doesn't do everything great. He's probably a bottom third of the league in terms of quarterback. He's one of those guys that if he gets hot, he can't hurt you.
I didn't pin David for having Bryce Young's statistics memorized.
Yeah, and I misspoke. I said he had 4 fourth-quarter or overtime comebacks. He had 6. Like, this guy is basically, besides Caleb, he's one of the guys that had the biggest comebacks in the NFL.
Okay, so to that point, we've talked a lot on this show about where Caleb Williams ranks among NFL quarterbacks. Where do you put Bryce Young right now?
I think no higher. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL who are about ready to take off, but I think somewhere between 18 and 25. I don't know that he's worse than that, but I'm not sure he's better than good enough to be in the top half either. He is a guy that if he gets hot, this new offense, at least the new play caller, I'm very curious why they did that and what effect it'll have.
He has 12 fourth-quarter game-winning drives since he entered the league in 2023. That's the most in that time span. So he's a guy that when the chips are down, he's going to make plays. He's obviously got to figure some things out in the first 3 quarters, which is why he doesn't have the great stats. But
top half?
I'd say he's around 15.
Okay.
And Ted McMillan is a guy that I think is going to continue to grow with him.
Very interesting. All right, we're going to see how that pans out. Obviously, you think about Week 1 is like everyone's healthy coming into that game. Everyone's feeling good. Everyone's ready to go. You never know, though, what could happen in training camp and what that matchup might look like. Obviously, a way too early prediction for us as we preview that matchup, and we'll continue to do so as we lead up to Week 1. Let's go to our second down of this opening drive, continuing our conversation about Caleb Williams, because we know that he was clutch in 2025. Check out this stat that was put together by Warren Sharp of Sharp Football Analysis. This ranks quarterbacks by EPA per dropback when playing from behind in the second half. Caleb Williams there ranking 5 on the list. There at the bottom of the list, you can see some other NFC North quarterbacks. Jared Goff, J.J. McCarthy, Kyle Murray did not play enough last season to qualify. Are you surprised, though, guys, when you look at the top of the list, Matthew Stafford, Jordan Love, are you surprised to see Jordan Love there ahead of Caleb Williams, considering all the magic Caleb Williams had in the fourth quarter?
This is fascinating. Yeah, I was surprised to see Jordan Love that high. Maybe even more surprised to see 𝗏𝗟, who nobody really talked about as part of that draft class, and ranks up there with Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. But I think that stat is very telling and revealing. And when you see Matthew Stafford there, I think that says a lot because he is the MVP, and that's just an important statistic.
I think we see all of the Caleb Williams highlights in crazy plays, and we forget that there's another way to play quarterback. And Jordan Love's a great fourth quarter quarterback. He's a great quarterback all the way around. He just does it in a different way. Instead of, cutting through the backyard, going off the, the rails, cutting through, he's just staying on the course. He's staying on the road, taking the turn on the stop line, taking the easy plays. So he is a good fourth quarter comeback, but I think Caleb Williams should be ranked higher. I know this is EPA per play, but what he's able to do, this was a stat that I thought was crazy. He led the NFL with 7 touchdown passes and a 132 passer rating on third down when trailing. So when they're down, and it's third down, the money down, you got to have it. Nobody was better than Caleb Williams, the most touchdown passes and the best pass rating. That takes concentration, it takes confidence, and that's something
Which
that's
is
impressive.
why I think people look at those numbers and they weigh statistical categories, some heavier than others. Not all stats are equal, and not all are going to be interpreted the same way. When you look at what Caleb does exceptionally well, are the kinds of things that come as a product of going off script.
Yeah.
Maybe off platform throws, those kinds of things, which are harder to quantify, but I think very valuable in the context of a game.
18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions when trailing, and 10 fourth quarter touchdowns. Clutch Gene, 1,000.
Okay, we love that. Perfect. Thank you, Clay.
Yeah.
Way to tie a bow on that one.
Yeah.
Let's go to our third down of this opening drive. We'll talk about some coaches now. As NFL senior writer for The Athletic, Jordan Rodriguez recently named a breakout assistant coach for all 32 teams ahead of the season. Tight ends coach Jim Dre was selected as the Bears coach to watch in 2026. Chicago's tight end room is obviously very deep now with young star Colston Loveland, 𝗁𝗏, third-round rookie Sam Roush. What do you think about Jim Dre as the selection here, guys? Are there other coaches we could potentially be sleeping on that could also be some breakout candidates? I love that Jim Dre is getting the love here because this is the guy who deserves it.
That we're bringing attention to the tight end room again.
Same. Always love bringing attention to the tight end room.
Also, Jim Dre, in case you forgot, Clay Harbor's draft class.
2010 draft class.
You know him, and I think that when you look at these kinds of things, you remember that Ben Johnson at one point in time, once upon a time, was a position coach. And you see the guys who were able to, he was a tight end coach as well. And so the kind of growth and potential that somebody like Jim Dre has is not, you don't overlook that. And it's nice to see him getting the kind of respect. There are other guys on this staff worthy of this kind of recognition, though.
Absolutely. Here on your screen, you can take a look at some of the Bears assistants that are surely to get some attention if their position rooms have successful seasons. Real quickly, guys, going back to the Jim Dre connection, and obviously I think we got to talk about Press Taylor when you look at what happened with Declan Doyle just a year ago. But I think when you look at that, it's all connected, right? Because if Press Taylor has an opportunity to go be a play-calling offensive coordinator somewhere else, that could elevate Jim Dre into that offensive coordinator position. There's always moving changes, not to mention, which I know we'll get into, what this could mean if Declan Doyle has a great year in Baltimore, becomes a head coach, he plucks from Ben's staff. There are a lot of possibilities for Jim Dre to continue to rise through the coaching ranks.
Jim Dre played in the NFL for 9 years. He played 94 games in the NFL. So he's a guy that is not only a good coach, he can relate to the players, and that's something that's special. And the reason I think he's such a good coach, because there are some coaches that you say, hey, they've got a good receiving tight end, oh, they got a good blocking tight end. He's got tight ends that are doing everything. He's coaching Sam Roush now. He's coaching 𝗁𝗏. He's coaching Colston Loveland, guys that have different skill sets, and he's able to coach them in a way that they all be successful at their little role.
And I think like you look at tight end coaches, why they're good offensive coordinators and head coaches, because they have to have a knowledge of the offensive line, the passing game, and the running game. It's kind of like why catchers make good managers in baseball. You have to have a grasp of all the aspects of the game.
And if you ask Clay Harbor, the two things that the tight end room are?
Smart.
And?
Good looking.
You knew right away exactly what I was doing. Real quick, guys, I do want to talk about this real quick because Declan Doyle was mentioned as the Ravens' breakout candidate. Let me tell you something. I'm calling it right now. If the Ravens have a great season and Lamar Jackson has another MVP caliber season, Declan Doyle will be a head coach next year.
Lamar Jackson won't have an MVP caliber season, will he, David?
Just us, David, from yesterday's show. All right, that's all I'm saying. Let's go to our fourth down of this opening drive. Take a listen to Mike Florio on the 𝗦liche and Haugh Show this morning.
He's dropping these hints on social media. He shows up at the team's facility to see how his body feels after working out in pads. Every little breadcrumb is leading to this. At this point, it would be a surprise if he says, you know what, thought about it, I'm good. I think he wants to do it. It's a no-lose situation for him. And it's one season. And let's go try to get another Super Bowl played in the stadium where they play their home games and the same place where they won their last Super Bowl 5 years ago.
All right, so we've been keeping our eye on Aaron Donald for a while now. If he does come back to play for the LA Rams, could the 35-year-old three-time Defensive Player of the Year have a huge impact on that team?
I think the less you use him, the more impact he will have. He's 35 and he's missed 2 seasons, and his body isn't the same, no matter how rare of an athlete he may be. And also, you worry about the injury. I disagreed with Mike this morning because, yes, there are lots of positives for him coming back. And Myles Garrett lining up next to Aaron Donald, that's historically good defensive line. But Clay, he is risking injury when you come back at that age. His body's not the same, no matter how impeccably prepared he will be.
And missing 2 years, but still, let's think about this. 70% of Aaron Donald is still probably better than 70% of the defensive tackles in the league. And now when you got guys like Myles Garrett on your team, on your defensive line, he's going to get some one-on-one situations. I would like him to have 30 snaps a game, 20 snaps a game, 2-minute drill, 3rd and long, get him out there, pass rush situations, because he can create a lot of mismatches, and now you're not able to chip or double team Myles Garrett. If you do, you still got Donald there. And what I'm not concerned about is if he can play for a game. I'm concerned about the recovery at 35. What happens when you've played 2, 3, 4 games in the trenches there? So keep the snaps down, keep him on pass rush situations where he's a guy that's still elite. He's not the Defensive Player of the Year anymore. He did win that 2 years ago. 8 sacks, 16 TFLs 2 years ago. But I think if you keep his snaps down, he can still be a big-time player.
I would not be surprised if you're right, and I think he will be back in the middle of everything because no news kind of is the news.
I will say this, what's crazy about the whole storyline is that with or without Aaron Donald, the LA Rams are a terrifying team next year. So that's going to be fun to watch.